Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be showing you how to make a gathering knot. To make a gathering knot, you will gather all of your strings together in whatever piece you are making. So this can be a really useful knot if you are doing a plant pot holder or want to just gather your strings together to make a lovely kind of tasseled effect at the end. So I've gathered my strings together. And then I've cut an extra piece of string here, just in a different colour to show it a little bit easier. And I usually cut this string anywhere between about 50 centimetres to 1 metre. So if you would like a bigger knot, cut a longer piece of string. If you'd like a smaller knot, just use about kind of 50 centimetres. So I'm going to lay this down horizontally and I'm going to take one end and I'm going to hook it back so it looks a little bit like a fishing hook at the bottom here. And with this line here, I usually do it between about 7 and 8 centimetres long, which is about 3 inches. If you again want to have a slightly longer knot, you can always make that hook longer. If you'd like a slightly smaller knot, you can always make that little hook smaller. But I usually say about 7 or 8 centimetres is a really nice length for the gathering knot. So what we need to do now is we need to pinch about 3/4 of the way up that hook. So I'm going to pinch there, and it's really important to have this tiny little piece sticking out the top and a hoop shape at the bottom there. Now this piece at the top may seem insignificant at first, but it's going to become really important as we go later on into the gathering knot. So where I've pinched it, I'm now going to place it on top of all of my gathered strings, and then I'm going to let go. I'm then going to go back into that same place where I pinched it before, but this time I'm going to pinch all of those strings. So this can be a little bit fiddly trying to hold all of the strings there. Just take your time with it. And you can see I've still got that tiny piece at the top and I've still got the hoop at the bottom. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this extra piece of string and I'm going to start wrapping it really tightly around all of those strings. And I'm going to work downwards towards that hoop. So I'm going to wrap it really tight side by side. It's important that we don't cover that top string completely. We still need a little bit of it sticking out the top. I'll wrap it a few times and then I will show you what it should start looking like. So hopefully you can see there that I've gone all the way around all of those strings there and made it into a lovely tight knot. I've still got that tiny piece sticking out the top here and I've still got my hoop at the bottom. I'm going to carry on just a little bit further. We need to carry on going down, but we don't want to cover the entire hoop here. We still need a very small amount of it showing. So I'm happy with the size of that gathering knot, and you can see I've got a little bit of the string left over. We always need a little bit left over here. We don't want it so short that we can't do anything further with it, because we now need to use that leftover piece of string to pop it down into that hoop. So we still should have a little bit of the hoop showing so that we can do this next step. So I'm going to take that piece that I've been wrapping around and I'm going to pop it down into that hoop. And I'm just going to tuck it out of the way, so just pull it a little bit so that you've got your string into that hoop. And now this is what I like to call the magical bit. So we're going to take that tiny little piece up at the top here that we left and we're going to start pulling. And as we pull, we need to watch what happens with this hoop here. So as you can see, my hoop is beginning to disappear underneath my gathering knot. You may sometimes need to just give this extra piece of string here just a little bit of a tug to move it out of the way, just to make sure it's nice and secure. And the second that that hoop disappears underneath your gathering knot, that is when we know that we need to stop pulling on that top string there. It begins to get very difficult to try and pull it any further because it's now underneath this knot. So what you'll be left with is the 2 strings on either side. So now all we have to do is cut those strings as close as we can to the gathering knot. And there we have our gathering knot. You can always tuck in any of those fluffy ends, and if you want to make sure that it's extra secure, you can always use a little bit of fabric glue or a dab of a hot glue gun just on that inside edge there, either side of the gathering knot, and that should keep it nice and secure. But if you've done it nice and tight, you shouldn't need glue. It's just in case you want a little bit of extra sense of security. For more how-to craft videos, hit like and subscribe below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.